On Saturday, former President Donald J. Trump endorsed celebrity TV doctor Dr. Oz for the United States Senate. In his statement of endorsement, Trump called Dr. Oz someone who would further his America First agenda, but unfortunately, Trump has been very misinformed. You see, Dr. Oz isn't just a moderate, he's actually more left-leaning. He's in no way a conservative. Oz's past on TV for many, many, many years has given us tons of time to see how Dr. Oz truly feels about most of the issues he talks about. Those issues include transgenderism, abortion, and many other topics. In this special from the Informed Youth of America, we're taking you back in time. It may be a year back, it may be 10 years back, but we're going to show you how Dr. Oz truly feels about the things he's saying. Oz has tried to hide and cover up most of this past, but the internet doesn't forget. And we've gone through and we've found the clips and the tweets and the pictures from Oz to show you how he himself feels. This is not us, this is him. Content he made, he edited, his team produced, and then published online or on national television. This is for you to see, so you know the truth about Dr. Mehmet Oz. This is Exposed Dr. Oz.
The decision to let your child live as the other sex, even alter their body. It's an area of intense debate. Today you'll meet families coping with this astonishing reality.
What does it mean to be a boy? What does it mean to be a girl? Those two simple questions are infinitely complex and gut-wrenching for parents of children who are born transgender.
I'm a girl, and I have a penis.
8-year-old Josie was born Joseph. Physically, she's a boy. But from the time she could talk, Josie knew she was a girl. Her sex on the outside didn't match how she felt on the inside. And that's how every transgender child feels. Children like Josie may start showing signs of transgender as early as 2 or 3. This extraordinary condition is not as rare as you might think. It's estimated that 3 million Americans believe they were born the wrong sex. Transgender shakes up all of our ideas about what makes us male or female. Does gender come from our anatomy or from our thoughts and feelings? While science looks for answers, what are parents of transgender children to do?
A little bit. This issue of being anonymous is, for me, vital. If someone's already dangerous, a coworker, you don't want to make yourself a target by telling everybody, hey, I think you're dangerous, right? So, how many of you would be more comfortable if it was anonymous? Yeah. So I think part of the hope I gather is that we'll make a system so that I can call in and say, there's evidence besides my testimony that this person's dangerous. Look at their Facebook feed or social media postings or comments they've made to other coworkers besides me. Do a little investigating. I'm alerting you, putting a little red flag up there saying this person's a concern. Then I would hope that all the states would say, well, if there's obvious evidence and you're pointing us to it, you don't have to get involved personally. Is that what's going to eventually happen, hopefully, in most states?
Now, if you just saw the same clip that I saw, you saw Dr. Oz, a Trump-endorsed candidate, call for red flag laws that allowed people to report on their friends and family to call for their guns to be taken based on social media posts. Now, ask yourself, over the course of the past 2 years, have you ever been called an extremist for saying that possibly, Black Lives Matter shouldn't be rioting in the streets? Have you been called an extremist for saying that maybe lockdown shouldn't have happened the way they did? If so, you could be losing your guns under Dr. Oz's Senate role. Now, that doesn't sound like a pro-gun candidate to me.
you change about the debate? Where would you put the emphasis? Or if you could do one thing, I know this is sort of a all-encompassing question.
I'll say globally, we have to make it easier to do the right thing in America. As an example, we spend a lot of effort right now figuring out how we're going to pay doctors and hospitals and how we're going to regulate insurance companies. But we also have to spend a little bit of effort trying to figure out why Americans buy some foods over others. Why is it so difficult for us to get the physical activity that we desire? And this starts, by the way, in our young years in school, and it progresses into our senior years. So as a society, we can look at different states and how they've accomplished this. Take California. The incidence of cigarette smoking in California is about 14%. I actually chaired the president's last White House Council on Health there, so I know some of these numbers. In New York State, it's about 17%. Only 3%, but it's a big difference. And
significant.
In some southern states, it's 20% and more.
The medical school in Philadelphia, and I saw women who had coat hanger events. I mean, they're really traumatic events that happened when they were younger, before Roe versus Wade, and many of them were harmed for life, emotionally discarding anyway.
Right.
And listen, I'm at a personal level, I wouldn't want anyone in my family to have an abortion. I told my kids this. I mean, I love the lives that they're creating so much that I personally wouldn't want it, but I don't want to interfere with everyone else's stuff because it's hard enough to get into life as it is. What I do know as a physician is if you're going to make it if the litmus test is the heart's beating, then really make it the heart beating. Don't make some surrogate version of it when cells are having an electrical path. That's not what the average person thinks. Right. The average person is envisaging a little acorn heart beating in there. That's not what's going on. What it is. At 6 weeks. And I think the rule that most Americans seem to support is if the child was viable outside the womb, then you don't want to kill that child.
What is your plan to reach those who say, not no, they're not saying never, but they're saying not now to the vaccine?
Thank you for that question, because I think that this is really critically important. I appreciate your audience and you. People are worried that the mRNA vaccines came too quickly. And what I would say is this: they've layered on decades of scientific discovery to bring these vaccines quickly. We produced them before we even had the clinical trials. That is why we have them so quickly.